Speaking of Medicaid, the Senate parliamentarian has struck key provisions related to the program from that big budget bill. It's a setback for Republicans who are racing to pass the legislation. Nikole Killion joins us now from Capitol Hill. Nikole, what did the parliamentarian do and what does it mean?
Well, this morning, the parliamentarian struck down a key provision in this so-called big, beautiful bill as it pertains to Medicaid, and a particular provision involving what's known as provider taxes, which are taxes that states charge and use in part. They tax providers and use that money in part to help fund their Medicaid program. So it was kind of a controversial issue and sticking point among some Senate Republicans. But basically, the parliamentarian said it didn't meet muster in terms of the budget rules, because, of course, this bill has to be passed under budget reconciliation, so there are very strict parameters around that. So what some Republicans have said is that, look, we may go back to the drawing board on this. It doesn't mean the bill is dead. Obviously, there is a lot of effort to try to meet the president's deadline of getting this bill passed by the July 4th recess. So as of now, that is what Republicans are working towards, to try to retool and reconfigure. And keep in mind, the parliamentarian has struck down other provisions as well, including some elements of the bill dealing with SNAP cuts. But we've already seen Republicans retool that and send it back to the parliamentarian. So it's a lot of revision and revising that's happening until we see that final text, which will signal ultimately a vote in the Senate when it's ready.
All of this is so fragile. And if this parliamentarian decision throws like a 30-pound weight on one side, how did they balance this back up in time to pass it by July 4th?
Yeah, well, that is a key challenge for Republicans, especially, for instance, with this issue of the provider tax. They were hoping to cut that because they saw that as a way to enact more savings. And it was a change from what we saw in the House version of the bill. So in terms of retooling this, they also have to go back to the drawing board and find a way to recoup some of that savings, if you will, to help pay for the president's tax cuts and other provisions in this bill. But that being said, GOP leaders John Thune and Speaker Mike Johnson have been very insistent that they will meet the president's deadline as best they can. As you know, they're due to break for recess tomorrow, but both leaders have indicated that they will keep members in and kind of plow through until they get this done.
Everybody should be in the best of moods then. Nikole Killion at the U.S. Senate, thank you.